Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Untitled, and you're welcome to our Instagram live session today. Today, May 17th, is World Hypertension Day, and hypertension is basically a silent killer, and it's not something we want to joke about. So today, I have a guest with me who is going to help us dissect hypertension, how to manage it, the causes, and how do you prevent hypertension. So please help me welcome my guest today. I have Dr. Johnson here today. Please, can you introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Johnson Babajide. I work with Medbury Medical Services. I'm an emergency medicine professional and an operational physician. That's basically it about me.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So our first question basically would be, what exactly is hypertension?
So, hypertension is a chronic condition where an individual's blood pressure is consistently above 140/90. So, you know this number you usually say now when you go to the hospital, they say BP and then they write a number for you, and they say, oh, 139/80, 140 over that and that, you know, that's. So, if that figure is presented to you and what you see there is persistent, the important word there is to hold on to is persistent, alright? So, if it's above 140/90 persistently, then that is what hypertension is. It's important to note here that as clinicians, we don't make diagnosis of hypertension by just one reading. So what we usually do is you come to the clinic about 1-2 days, or a reading that is done about 4-6 hours apart, about at least about 2 to 3 readings as it were. You know, so if this figure, if we read it 2-3 different times and it's consistently above 140/90, then you diagnose hypertension.
Okay, so if I come to the hospital today and I have that reading, I still have to come back again to be sure.
You have to come back in like 4-6 hours. Yeah. If that is your first time you're getting that kind of reading.
Okay.
Alright, but if you've been diagnosed before, then you're hypertensive, But if you come to the hospital for the first time ever, alright, and then they check your blood pressure, or when they're checking your blood pressure, the first time ever that your reading is above a particular figure, you have to get it checked again in about 4 to 6 hours. And it's times. The reason is because a lot of stressors or factors can contribute to the transient rise in blood pressure. Alright, so the stress of Lagos, traffic of Lagos, hypertension and all that. So we don't want it to be exactly. So we have to take it like 2 to 3 different times before we diagnose it.
Okay, so I want to ask, how deadly is this hypertension?
It's very, very deadly. And the reason is not far-fetched. So the tricky thing about hypertension as a condition is it does not show any symptoms. Alright, so you can go 10, 20, 50 years with it, and you won't, unlike your malaria, your typhoid, and you feel all kind of, this doesn't show anything. And it silently damages literally every organ within the body, from your head to your toe, as it were. Alright, so that's why you hear somebody was walking down the office and the person just says long, and they say it's arrow from the village. More often than not, it's not arrow from the villages. Long-standing hypertension that has not been diagnosed or that has not been properly managed. So it's very, very deadly. It can lead to conditions like stroke, chronic kidney disease, and end-stage renal disease. Name it, literally every complication.
So basically, most times when people, you've seen cases of somebody dancing in church and they just slumped and died. Yeah. So are you saying that most cases because of hypertension?
It's because of poorly managed hypertension that has gone like AY and has led to a complication that most times can be a stroke, it can be an heart attack, or cardiac arrest that just happened suddenly. And then if you now put that person on the autopsy and say, okay, what is the cause of this death? More often than not, you see an enlarged heart, which is a sign of long-standing hypertension that's not been managed.
Okay, so let's go back to this reading thing you were talking about. So, what do you use to measure? Like, how do you get those values? Like, okay, so there's something that you put on my hand. So, how does this reading come to be actually? Okay,
so it's a machine called the sphygmomanometer. Alright, so it's a machine that measures the pressure that your blood exerts on your blood vessel. I don't want to go into the details of that, alright? Okay. But what usually happens is, imagine a pipe and the water running through it. And imagine the pressure of that within that pipe being, let's say, 100 millimeters of mercury. And then all of a sudden it goes above, the pressure that it will exert on that pipe go higher.
Okay.
So that's what basically is in this moment.
So I want to ask, how often should people check their blood pressures?
Okay, so I tell people, if you live in Nigeria, and I mean, I have 25 years, 30 years and above, please check your blood pressure at least once in a month.
Once in a month?
If you are in Lagos, shots, it is important to check it once in a month, alright?
Lagos people check your blood pressure once in a month. Yes,
alright.
So, are you saying stress can also be a major factor that can cause hypertension?
It's a contributing factor, alright? I need to mention here that if you have a first degree relative, that is a father, a mother, a sister, a brother, that has been diagnosed hypertensive, you should check it more often than once in a month. You should do at least twice a month. Because there's a connection between it as it were.
So if somebody in your family has hypertension, you have high risk of having hypertension.
Exactly. There's a high chance that you might have it.
Okay, so let me ask, what exactly causes hypertension? You said stress. Are there other things that cause hypertension besides from this?
So, let me start from here. So there are two types of hypertension when it comes to the classification. There's one we call the primary hypertension and another one we call the secondary hypertension.
Okay.
Right? So the primary one is, we don't know the cause. That's scientific, that's the mystery. But what we know is that when you're 40 years and you're above that age, and you're black most times, your blood pressure just goes up. Alright, but any increase in blood pressure that happens to individuals below 40 years of age, and there's a known cause to it, is usually the essential type of hypertension. So I needed to start from there.
Okay.
So the secondary types, the elements that causes secondary type of hypertension are pheochromocytoma. More often is chronic kidney disease, really, So it's an interesting loop. The kidney and the heart has I don't want to say emotional connection here, but they have a very deep connection as it were. Alright, so when it happens to the kidney, most times something happens to the heart, something happens to the heart, something happens to the kidney.
So it's like saying kidney and liver are like a couple. So whatever happens to the kidney happens to the heart.
Not every time, but more.
Okay, but most cases.
Yeah, so, no, not liver, kidney and the heart.
Kidney and the heart.
So it's a very interesting loop.
Wow.
So the most common cause, research has shown in young people, is CKD, that's chronic kidney disease, is what leads to high blood pressure.
So basically, people that have kidney issues will definitely have high blood pressure. Okay. So I really want to ask this. I've not seen it. I've heard of a case where a young person I know, as to say, actually had hypertension. And would you really say that? And I don't think it was kidney. What would you think actually happened to the young person?
It's not absolute. So my words were more often than not. Alright. So a large percentage of it is usually, but not all the cases. Alright. So a lot of things can cause it. Cushing syndrome, pheochromocytoma. So what we usually do as clinicians is, if you come in as a young person and your blood pressure is above the roof, and we'll do a series of investigation to find out what will cause it. Because about 90% of the time, there's usually an underlying cause that is making the blood pressure go up. Compared to a 40-year-old that come in and the blood pressure is.
Okay, so we have talked about the causes, what it is now. Now let's go to how is it curable? Is hypertension curable?
Is it manageable?
So it means once you have now, like you can only manage it. It's not like there's a permanent cure.
But it can be managed extremely efficiently.
Okay.
If you stick to the rules, yeah.
So someone can have hypertension and still live as long.
As long as you want. 150, 200. If you want to go as I asked me to sell at least, my guess.
And that's the good news about today. Yes. So how do you manage this hypertension when you hear that you have it?
Okay, so lifestyle modification is first, and it's usually the tougher one for people to do. Alright? So what that means is there are risk factors that you can modify and the ones that you can modify. Meaning there are some that you can do something about and the ones you can do something about.
Okay.
So risk factors are entities that increases your chance of getting a particular thing.
Okay.
Alright, so for example, drinking, smoking, you're drinking, smoking at the modifiable ones, not modifiable ones like your age, your sex, and so on and so forth. Alright. So I need to start from there. So lifestyle modification, top on the list is reduce your salt intake.
Okay.
Alright. So the average adult does about 9 grams to 12 grams of salt per day. Alright.
Okay, can you put that gram in a like teaspoon or tablespoon? Yeah.
So the advice, this what you should do as an adult, you should do at least 6 grams a day. That's 1 teaspoon in a day. Is that Abby?
That's very hard.
That's very hard. But that's the best way. So
wait, if I'm cooking rice now, I should use 1 teaspoon.
Yes.
You know how to mix 2.
So put it in the stew instead of in the rice.
Okay. So 1 teaspoon per day.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. The interesting thing is people say, okay, it's stuff that doctor told me during the Instagram, like at least I can put Maggi, I can put Ajinomoto. Please understand those things contain sodium. So the trick is you're trying to reduce your sodium intake, which is an integral part of salt, Maggi, and all those other condiments that you add to your meal. Alright, so it goes across board. Alright, so your Maggi, your salt, everything shouldn't be more than 6 grams.
Okay, so aside salt, is there something else people who wants to manage hypertension with time? What else should they also take note of?
People say locust beans here, but you should do the, what's it called now? I know it's in Yoruba, the one that is not meshed together. You should do the ones that stand alone.
Oh,
the reason is
okay.
because the one that is meshed together is usually preserved with salt, compared to the other one that is so that is one alternative that you can maybe tilt towards.
Okay, so we are just joining us. We are still talking about hypertension, and we have Dr. Johnson here who is taking us through the measures, how to control and how to manage hypertension. So I want to ask you, for people who have not had it before, like how do young people or people just listening to us who don't even have hypertension, like how do they prevent it from happening to them? What can they do to not have hypertension?
Okay, so some of the stuff that is, if you drink, please cut it down. If you binge drink, to be specific. So binge drinking is they'll bring one crate of whatever beer to you and say, okay, I'm just starting. Bring 3 more crates, That's binge drinking.
Wait, sorry, before you say drink, can we specify? Is it beer, alcoholic drinks?
Alcoholic drink, no sense of it. So I'm going to break it down. Okay. What's the limit you should go by.
Okay.
Alright, so beer, spirit, if they bring one bottle of each spirit, you say, this one is small and I can bring more than this, and they bring extra. Please don't binge drink. Alright, the limit you should go for a male and for a female, the figures are different.
Okay.
So for a male, you should do an average of 330 mils of beer per day. That's a small bottle of beer you're making in Guinness and all those things.
Okay.
A small one, 2 of it, and that's all in a day. For a lady, 2 a day. For a lady, just 1 of the 330 mils.
So next time I ask, why is there a difference between male and female? Like, why?
I don't know. That's finished. There's no scientific. It's a genetic thing, as it were. So
okay.
There's no. You're like, oh, why is there?
Yeah, like why should the women take less and the man should take more?
So for my research, it's a genetic study that they did, and they realized that the effect of it on female is much more grander than the effect on male.
Okay. So is there any other thing?
For spirit also, for a guy can do 2 standard shots of spirit drinking.
Okay, spirits is spirit. Is it tequila?
Yeah, tequila. Any one of them, distilled spirits, tequila, gin, rum, and so on and so forth. A man can do 2 shots of that, and a female should do 1 shot
in a day.
Yeah, and then for wine, you can do for a guy you can do 2 standard wine glass.
Okay.
And then for a lady, 1 standard wine glass. That's the limit that you should go. Anything above that is puts you at risk of hypertension.
Okay, is there any other thing?
Yeah, so exercising also is an excellent one. Alright. So when we say exercise, people usually think, and now start carrying and start running the entire Lagos streets, No. The trick is just make sure that whatever exercise routine you choose, it's aerobic. What that means is it makes you breathe very fast.
Okay.
Alright, so what we usually advise people that you can easily do is brisk walking. So in your room, in your compound, just walk actively like a soldier for like 30 minutes, 3 times a day. 30 minutes is the standard, no less than 30 minutes, 3 times in a day, alright, for aerobic exercises. The exercise called isometric resistance exercise, those are like planking. The one that you just stay in one place, but it's a resistance exercise, so you can do that also if you want to. Resistance exercises are open on the table, right? But if you know your body can take it, please don't do it. Swimming, cycling, and are excellent aerobic exercise that people don't even pay attention to. That can pick up. You can go with your family, just cycle around on weekends, 50 times, 30 minutes, and you're good.
Okay, so can we also say cutting down stress? Like, so actually really I just want to talk about, for example, Lagos people now who have to always be on the road. Yeah. So when you say cut down stress, is there an ideal, measuring factor to say, okay, this is what I think you should not really do so much of a day to cut down your stress level?
So I realize that people don't know that within work, within the hustle and bustle, you can take out 5-10 minutes to take stress reduction measures. And I'm going to give some examples.
Okay.
Right? So it's hard to say, okay, cut down your stress. Like, for example, say you work only 6 hours a day, or it's hard because you have to work and money and everything. And Lagos traffic is standard. You can't fly. Alright. But what I tell people is, even during your work time, take out 5 minutes and watch your comedy video. It's an excellent stress release. Right? 5 minutes, just check and watch Basketball and just laugh it up, or watch Tawoma and all those guys and just laugh 10 minutes. Even in the traffic of Lagos, that usually 2 to 3 hours, take out time. Watch YouTube videos on comedy. Specifically, right? On weekends, if you're free, go to the park with your family. The interesting is, time with family, studies have shown that it's an amazing element that helps in controlling blood pressure. Amazing stuff. So go to the park with your family, just have a good time, have a nice time. Go to the cinema, watch movies. You can also watch random movies short movies during traffic, during walk, for 5-10 minutes. Go for water breaks, every 30 minutes. Just stand up from where you're walking. Go get some water, take and go back to your work. So those are practical steps you can take, within the day to help you at least reduce. And then get enough sleep, very important.
Okay, get enough sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's pretty much all our questions today. And I want to say thank you to everyone who joined us for this show. Do you have any final words? Do you have anything to tell?
Yes, it's important to let people know that hypertension is a silent killer. From a personal point of view, I know a friend that had long-standing hypertension for a couple of years, and the condition shut down his kidney. Right? And the funny thing is, when the complications ensue, they are very, very expensive compared to managing them properly, compared to knowing your number, like you say, which is get your blood pressure checked and know which number you have, and then managing it. All right. So when the kidney condition comes, you'll be looking for 9-10 million to do a transplant, right? Compared to the 400 naira that you will spend on getting medications to use, and exercises is even free. Nobody will charge you to exercise, So
are there drugs for hypertension?
Yeah, there are medications, absolutely. But I tell people don't self-prescribe, alright? Don't go by the counter and say, oh, I might have hypertension, or you are giving medications, alright? Let this be the work of your clinician. So see a doctor, alright? Let them measure, and let them say, okay, take this and this. And please don't go by yourself to go and refuel just randomly, without your clinician's input. The reason is because blood pressure is not a dynamic element. So it goes up, it goes down, and up and down, up and down. It's not static.
Okay.
Right, so you need your physician to check and say, okay, this blood pressure is not Victoria, reduce it to this, take this a little bit higher. Those are not decisions you want to make for yourself, because if your blood pressure goes below normal, again, it's another issue. Alright.
Okay.
So please leave medications to your clinicians to prescribe and guide you.
Okay. So don't just use drugs by yourself.
Exactly.
So is there an impact of drug use on hypertension? So let's say if you are using drug or something, is that a way it leads to hypertension?
Yes, there is. Alright. So if you are the one that uses drug abuse a whole lot, there's a high impact on it. Alright. It can increase your chance of actually having hypertension.
Okay. So thank you everyone for joining us again. So we have a blog post written specifically for hypertension. We did a very big breakdown on hypertension, the causes, the management, and how you can actually treat it. So you can actually visit the link in our bio to read up this blog post. So thank you once again for joining. My name is Odome, and this is
Johnson.
Thank you.